Hey everybody, it's the coach, and this is Monday Night Football on EA Sports. Straight ahead, we've got a good one in store between the Houston Oilers and the Green Bay Packers. I'll be back at halftime to look at some of these stats and scores from Sunday's action. But for now, it's Monday Night Football. And to call the action, here are Brandon Godden and Charles Davis.
The coach, as the calendar creeps closer to year end, the Green Bay Knights are getting colder and colder. Not quite ice fishing weather, but it sure is in Bermuda here at Lambeau Field. The scene a few moments ago, here it is. It's unlike any other in sport as both teams made their way out of the tunnel. These folks are fired up as their guys are ready to do battle between the Houston Oilers and the Green Bay Packers. Along with Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Godden. And Charles, we look at this Packer team as we enter play here. They come in after tasting defeat for the first time in about a month as their loss snapped a 4-game winning streak. On the other side of the field for our visitors here, they too were losers last week, so they're also hoping to get back in the win column.
Something's got to give in this one, right? Both teams want to start a new streak, and they both want it to be a victory. This should be a fun one.
The first 2 months of the regular season down. What will the final two bring us as we're off in Week 9? This will be taken in at the 1. And he'll bring it a few past the 20 to the 23-yard line. So here comes the Packers offense now onto the field. They'll be led out by their quarterback, a product of NC State. It's Jacoby Brissett.
I love just about everything about him. Love his game, love his makeup, love his moxie. One of my favorite words. This guy's a competitor. Gritty, tough, you name it, he's got it. But he did throw an interception in last week's game. That contributed to a loss. And despite the fact he threw 3 touchdown passes, he's going to be out there redoubling his efforts and trying to play better.
And he'll get this up to the 34-yard line. 10 yards there to start the drive, and just enough by about the length of the football for a first down. Well, one unit I know you want to watch is that offensive line. If they keep clearing holes like that, it could be a long night defensively.
No doubt about it, because when they are in sync, as we're seeing so far, when that continuity is there, and you can see that they're playing off of each other while controlling the defensive front linebackers, you're exactly right. It could be a very long night for the defense because someone's going to run for some big yardage.
It's a 4-yard pickup, and it'll be second down. And the big boys up front in the trenches. What do you think of the O-line, Charles?
I love them because this is a group that's so cohesive. They know what the man next to them is going to do at all times, and they operate as a terrific unit.
On second down, it's Shepard. And he'll be stopped right at midfield. A gain of 13. It's a first down. Now, look, that wasn't a huge gain, but those are the types of carries I think they were missing in their loss last week. They couldn't get him going on the ground.
Did you get the same feeling I did during our meetings, that they kind of regretted that he didn't touch the ball?
Absolutely.
You know, hey, he should have touched it more last week. They weren't going to make that same mistake, and they've taken care of that early.
They'll run on first down. Gates. And his first carry, he loses the football. And the defense will get their hands on it, going the other way. And his crew will take over at their own 45-yard line. Well, he's not the starter coming in, getting his first carry off the bench. That's not the way to earn more carries.
You have to stay in the game, even if you're not on the field, right? Stay mentally sharp, stay ready. And above all, when you get into the game, hold on to the football. Don't let the other team have it.
And now out comes Houston. And, Charles, if the season ended today, and it's not going to, we still have December left.
More football.
We're only in November. But they would be a wild card team. And that's great. They'd be in the playoffs, but you know they're trying to bump up to be one of those division leaders.
That guarantees you at least one home game in the playoffs, and that's what you're really seeking. But there also isn't much margin for error for this team, right? Because right where they're sitting, a 2-game losing streak could have them out out of the playoffs, so they've got to make sure they continue to keep the momentum going.
Absolutely. There's some sharks smelling blood in the water behind them. From the 44, Brissett. He's going to find his running back. It's complete. And he'll get it inside the 40 to the 39. A gain of 5, good enough for the first down.
Defensively here, you're facing a top 5 team in terms of points scored in the NFL. So when they're that high powered, you've got to find a way.
And he fires one that's intercepted. Picked off at about the 31. And his crew will take over with a football at the 35-yard line.
Well, this had trouble written all over from the start. He's got 2 extra defensive backs in the game he's got to deal with. They're in a dime set. So everywhere he's looking, he's seeing a different colored jersey. And sure enough, this one winds up being intercepted.
Out comes the Houston offense as they get set to take over here. So good starting field position for him here as they come up 1st and 10. Throwing on first down. Lawrence throwing over the middle, and it's incomplete. He was looking for John Ross that time. And it's 2nd down. So a look here at the key inactives, and we got this list before the game down on the field. They tell us the same thing every time, don't they? Next man up.
No excuses. Be ready to play. That's the mantra of every organization. The key is having guys on the roster who are capable of filling in and playing at a high level. That's when you know you've drafted well, scouted free agents well, and stocked your team just the way you're supposed to.
Looking to throw. Lawrence. Oh, he's got a little daylight.
That was a really nice interception. I think it illustrates the differences between playing man and playing zone. When you're in man, all you're focused on is the receiver in front of you. But when you're in zone, you're allowed to read the quarterback's eyes and go to the ball. That's exactly what happened on that play.
And Green Bay getting ready to go as they take the field. And still a lot of football to be played in this season. We're only in November. A lot can happen between now and January. But if it ended today, they would just be on the outside of the playoff picture looking in. So a lot to fight for.
Yeah, and wasn't it interesting in our meeting with the coaching staff that they all made sure to let us know, we know where we are right now, but the playoffs don't start tomorrow. We still got some time, and they plan on putting it together, formulating a streak, got the whole month of December still left to play. They think they can get in.
And they made it very obvious to us that there's no playoff talk in the locker room right now. It's win this game and look to next week.
Excellent focus.
Quick hitter here, it's complete.
Holding offense.
They were looking to throw, holding on the big right tackle.
That's real simple, partner. Keep your hands inside in the chest area. You're probably okay. You get it out on the shoulders, get them wide. Usually going to pick.
And this throw will be intercepted. Picked off at the 16. And a terrific return as he'll take it up past the 35.
Face mask. Defense.
Well, we looked at each other right away. We knew that flag was coming out.
And I always enjoy the conversation post because officials always tell you, I don't want to throw the flag, but you caused the play. You did it. I had to.
So the yellow flag came out, and that leads to a new set of downs for this offense. 1st and 10. They'll run it now out of the gun. And they go backwards here, losing yardage back at the 48-yard line. That's going to wind up a loss of a full 3 yards on 1st down.
Early down stuff's to put this offense in a precarious position. We know that securing the point of attack, especially against the big-bodied guys in the middle of this D, has got to be priority one.
So now they have to contend with 2nd and 13 after the 1st down run goes backwards. Operating from the gun. Lawrence. Nowhere to go here. He lost the football.
On plays like this where the ball comes free, it's often unusual for the team that lost it to get it back because This is a quarterback. The ball gets away from him. Everyone else is trying to execute what they're supposed to do on offense. They're usually looking in the other direction, downfield, or have moved away from him. In this case, though, a teammate is able to come up with the ball.
Needs something from deep in the bag of tricks here after first and second down went backwards. It's third and very long. Into a double team, and it's intercepted. Picked off by Josh Jackson, and his guys are going to take over at the 39-yard line. First quarter, and now he already has 2 interceptions.
Yeah, he's got to guard against being tentative from this point forward, though. He's got to still make the right reads, make the proper throws. I've seen guys in this league throw 4 interceptions in a game and win. He's got to understand, put it behind you, keep pressing forward.
The Green Bay offense now about ready to take possession here. And 2 picks thrown here in this first half alone. We'll see how that affects him.
Can't wait to see where his confidence is, because the great ones, they'll throw 4 or 5 picks, and while it'll hurt their team, it won't hurt their confidence. They'll think something was just wrong with the ball or the wind or something was funny. It's never about them. That's how they stay so into the moment and into the game.
And they're well past midfield, just a yard or 2 shy of the 40. 19 yards there on the catch and run. Right after the turnover, they come out throwing.
And that means it's a sudden change situation. We used to practice it on defense. Sudden change, get out there, stop the offense. But you typically run out there a little bit unsettled. I think that's why he came right out throwing the football, hoping to catch him off balance.
And he did. On first down, it's Shepard. 10 yards on the pickup there, and it'll be second down.
I remember a coaching friend of mine used to tell his running backs before games, make sure you run and jog with your offensive line in pregame. Get used to the ground.
Rush coming, and he's taken down.
Well, they had the right down and the definite distance to take a shot downfield, but it didn't work out the way that they had envisioned.
No, that's a situation where if you take a sack close to the line of scrimmage, it's not that bad, but a loss like that, you can't take a sack there.
Yeah, absolutely. The one thing you cannot do, they did.
So now 3rd and 10, a big play to start the drive, but nothing since. From the shotgun, it's Bissett. And a big loss here as he's taken down. Rashawn Gary able to record his 5th sack of the season.
I remember when I was a kid and all I wanted was a nickel so I could get that soda down at the fountain. And guess what? The nickel came into play well. 5 defensive backs, they covered well, allowed for the sacks.
Sodas were a nickel when you were a kid?
No, I just needed the extra nickel so I could pay the proper price.
Okay, how much were they? A dime? What were they?
15 cents.
On 4th down, J.K. Scott ready to punt it away. Only 2 punts for him last week in the loss as he gets this one away. Now out comes their leader and the captain of this offense back onto the field. Bottom line, he's got to figure things out. He's completed 3 passes, but 2 of them have been to the wrong team so far.
And when we talk about the best quarterbacks, we're usually talking about touchdown to interception ratio, aren't we? And 2 to 1 is acceptable, but the top line guys, 3 to 1 or better is what they're looking for. Now we're talking about interceptions versus completions. That's not a ratio should ever be in any discussion. I'd say it's pretty good strategy. If you throw interceptions on back-to-back drives, let's see if the running backs can handle the ball.
Packer pressure, and down he goes.
Got to give him points for the attempt, but there's just a wave of pressure there. A host of people in the area. Evades a few, but couldn't evade all of them.
Packers bringing in an extra member of the secondary here to try for the 3rd down stop. From the gun, Lawrence. And he's going to go down again. And that is the 3rd sack this offensive line has allowed this first quarter.
Man, that puts him on pace. Let me do the rudimentary math here. To be sacked 12 times in a game. I know he's not going to go for that. I wonder if it's going to reshape what they decide to do on offense in terms of play calling.
Well, I can tell you what, when he popped up, shaking his head, frustrated right now behind center. And they'll send out their punter now as he's on to punt for the first time tonight. That's taken inside his own 40. So a change of possession here on the punt. And this offense will take over right at the midfield stripe with a 1st and 10. The Packer offense now ready to get back onto the field. They've shown very little offensively to this point. Well, neither team has really. They come up here now 1st down. So good field position for the Packers as they come up 1st and 10. They'll run on 1st down. It's Shepard. And they'll get him down here at about the 42. A solid run on 1st down. Gain of 7 leaves them with a 2nd and 3. Well, they're making an effort to get the ground game going tonight. So far, it's working.
I like what we're seeing from the offensive line. They seem to have the leverage going, and they're controlling things and reestablishing the line of scrimmage, moving that defensive front backwards. But also like what the runner's giving us, too. It appears that he's been waiting all day long to get out here and take off. What a catch, and one-handed, and I'm starting to lose my awe about the play, and maybe I shouldn't. How much of this is the player? How much of it is the glove?
Well, those gloves, they do have a little grip to them, don't
they? They get a little extra tackiness to them now, and I know the guys in the NFL, the competition committee, some other places, they're talking about examining those gloves to see if they're having too much of an effect on the game.
No score after 1 on EA Sports. Back for the 2nd quarter in Green Bay. It's the Packers in possession of the football as they've got it with a 2nd down and 2 coming up.
Check back 50. Strip the ball. Strip that ball.
And they go the wrong way here. Knocked back to the 20. That's a big loss of 3, and it brings up 3rd down.
If you're a selfish player and you're throwing the ball, you're cool with the completion. Maybe not so cool with the yardage loss, though, huh?
Yeah, you went backwards on the yardage. Hey, it kind of works like a sack for the defense there.
Yeah, it's a really big play for them, right? Able to figure it out, sniff it out, and finish it off.
He's coming.
Brissett from the gun on 3rd. And this is going to be incomplete. Well, the other day they told us when we've got 3rd and 5 or less, we have to be able to convert. And I guess every team would say that, Charles, but an opportunity missed there.
What they were trying to tell us is they believe it's a matchup game at that point. And they liked some matchups that they had, thought they could exploit them, unable to do so on that play.
And his kick is indeed good. And the Packers are off to a 3-0 lead. Been a bit of a dogfight thus far into the 2nd quarter now, and we do have our first point. It's a field goal.
Yeah, a lot of people say, wow, first action on the scoreboard, about time. To me, the action's been right there on the field, trying to figure out who could gain an advantage, gain some field position, finally get points on the board. I'm loving this kind of game.
It feels like kickers might play a big role in this one.
Yes, make sure you give them the respect they deserve. They could cost you a game or win you one.
Getting set to go again as we look at the back, heading onto the field again. And for him, it's been pretty limited involvement. Down on the scoreboard, maybe time to turn to this guy.
And you know me well. Winning games to me means starting with the running game and continuing to press the running game. Maybe you go away from him a little bit now, but the bottom line is he hasn't touched it enough to make a difference.
They haven't established that running game yet. The question is, will they? Officially no gain on the play, and it's 2nd down.
As usual, the hallmark of a good run defense, linebackers making plays near the line of scrimmage. Absolutely nowhere to run there.
And they get him down, but not before he takes it across the 40-yard line. 17 yards on the catch and run. It's a 1st down.
We can talk all we want about football being a game of strength and brawn. It's also a game of mismatches, and they're trying to create one there, getting it to their back out of the backfield to make a bigger play.
As we often say, get it to him in space, let him use his leg.
Yeah, if he can get a matchup against a linebacker or maybe a defensive end dropping out in a zone blitz, he's going to win that battle just about every time.
1st and 10. Lawrence. He'll get this to his tight end. It's Jonnu Smith. A good pickup of 6 there on 1st down.
Completion was given up, but that's why you play zone defense, so that you can have people around the ball when it's caught, and you don't give up much run after the catch.
He'll be taken down at the 48 for a pickup of 2 yards. Darren Lee there to get him down. They'll run it now out of the gun. Well, they hit him in the backfield, and he will not escape, and that is not going to get it done.
Plays like we just saw there, that's why they're up right now. And the defense, they're doing their job.
Yeah, it starts with the guys up front. So when you talk with GMs who are putting together a team, a lot of them say we're going to build from the inside out, because if you control the line of scrimmage, you control the rest of the ball game, and that's what we're seeing here. They're actually playing in the offense's backfield, not necessarily just playing at the line of scrimmage.
On is the punt team now as this one's sent away.
Let's go.
There again is the running back as he trots onto the field. He's been effective so far, over the 40-yard mark here in the second quarter. Don't forget about those guys up front, though. They've been effective, too.
The leverage game has been in their favor. They've been the ones who've been able to bend their knees, drop their hips, and get a little bit lower than the guys on the other side of the football, and they've moved them out of the way for the runner.
Sometimes that's tough for those big fellas.
Not an easy thing for them to do.
Give him 3 on 1st down. It'll set up a 2nd and 7. On 2nd down now, it's Shepard. And he's across the 40, 3 extra yards to the 43. Still about 3 yards shy of a first as the 4-yard pickup brings it to 3rd down.
And that's one of the reasons you like to blitz even on rundowns. It confuses the blocking assignments. It doesn't allow those offensive linemen to get up to the second level.
Just a 2-yard pickup, and that should necessitate a call for the punt team here on 4th down.
Brandon, one thing about blitzes, they really confuse offensive linemen at times, and what you have to do is lock in on the guy right in front of you. If you don't, you saw the end result. Defensive tackle ended up making the play.
Here's J.K. Scott now as he's on to punt for Green Bay. Now this is going to carry well into the end zone for a touchback. And now out comes Houston. They've shown precious little here offensively thus far as they try again with a 1st down now.
Let's go. 18 Gator. Watch QB jump. Watch QB jump.
On 1st down, Lawrence. Out to the flat. That's complete to his running back. And he's going to lose yardage here. Back to his own 18. This will be a 2-yard loss on the play. And that'll make it 2nd and 12. Really good defensive effort. They were all over that little swing pass out to the right side before lost yardage.
Terrific read, better execution, and done with a lot of enthusiasm, wasn't it?
Absolutely.
They saw it all the way, ran to the football, and caused a nice play for lost yardage.
And to give this time to the tailback. And he's taken down. It's a gain of 3 from the 17 to the 20.
Well, he hasn't made much of an impact in the running game thus far, and after that last run, not much is going to change in that area.
He hasn't been able to get anything going, and really the offensive line not helping him much. And he's going to get this one across the 30-yard line. Now, after the completion, we're going to get a timeout, an injured player. While he gets attended to, we'll step aside. From the 32 now, here's 1st and 10. Back to throw. Lawrence. Over the middle to Smith. And he'll be tackled right on the chalk of the 45. Another nice gain, 13 yards that time, and another 1st down.
And after that completion, you can understand why so many teams in the league are emphasizing speed on defense at every position. The tight ends have created so many tough matchups now. If you can't run with a tight end as a linebacker, this is going to be the result every time.
2nd and 4. Over the middle, complete. That's Brown. That one, a 1st down pickup of 8.
I think it all came together there. In-breaking route, drove it with excellent pace. Money throw right there to move the sticks.
And the lane closes up quickly as he'll get about 3 down to the 38.
They tried a quick hitter inside, but that one was swallowed up because what they're hoping, those big defensive linemen will take the bait and move laterally and open up a crease that they can run through. Didn't happen on that play.
9 yards to pick up there, and it's a first down. Second quarter, 2 minutes remain. 3-0 our score. Coming up at the half, a reminder we go back to Orlando to check in with Jonathan Coachman. He'll have a look back at our first half as well as a look ahead to what's coming up later this weekend. Now a throw to the end zone on first down, but it winds up incomplete. Fair to say, hasn't been his best game throwing the football, but also not getting a lot of help out there either.
Yeah, you nailed it pretty well, you know. He's got to throw it better. Got to get more help. Obviously one that should have been caught. They've got to find a way to bring those two elements together so they can make some progress in this one.
So on that play, defense was in the zone. They ran a crossing route offensively, but the defense there, you got to be good with communication, don't you?
You certainly do, and it's not something that is really evident when you watch it on the screen. But everyone's talking, communicating, pointing, and it keeps you from chasing receivers because you have a specific zone you have to cover. When a receiver's in your zone and he crosses to another one, you got to let your guy know. They got a completion there, but I like the discipline they showed to stay in their proper areas and then make the tackle.
The quick slant caught. And he'll be brought down here at the 3-yard line. Nice job defensively to hold him to 4, and now it's 2nd and goal.
When you see zone defense and you know you've got a drag route on as you're...
And he's in. Touchdown, Houston. From 3 yards out. And his guys have taken the lead. There was no going through the progressions on that touchdown pass.
Yeah, nor was it necessary. His receiver won that route early, presented himself, no reason to wait. Go ahead and put it on him and score a touchdown.
Now for the extra point, Daniel Carlson. And this is up and good to make it 7-3. That one in the books as a 12-play drive. And the result, a Houston touchdown. Following the touchdown, ready to kick it away is Carlson. This fielded at the 2. And he'll take this across the 25. Couple extra yards up to the 27-yard line. A look at the running back, the man out of the backfield as he gears up to go again. He's been good. They've utilized him well, but they're losing here in the second quarter. What might they change offensively?
I think that what you try and do is expand how you get the ball to him a little bit. Get him out in open space, maybe swing the ball to him. What's that they used to call it in the West Coast offense, the long handoff? Yeah. Serve as your running play that way, as well as continue to feed him the football. Some of these runs now may pop bigger later in the game because of the effects of running it. Sometimes people, after a while, they don't want to tackle him anymore, or they get tired, or they get out of position, or he runs through tackles. Continue to feed him the ball. He's having that kind of game.
Yeah, might they get him the ball in some space in some different ways here. On 3rd down, Shepard, and they'll indeed stop him on 3rd down. And now what do you want to do with your timeouts? Now the defense going to use the first of their timeouts as they stop it here with just under 40 ticks to go in this first half. He's been a busy man here in this first half as he gets it away. A big kick there. We'll call it 56 yards on the punt. And possession will switch hands, 1st and 10. Out comes the Houston offense as they get set to take over here. You're under a minute to go here in the half. Field position not really in your favor, but still time to try and move the ball and get in field goal range.
Yeah, you've got the lead. It's definitely a thought. Let's go ahead and try and increase it. But at the same time, I don't like the odds. I don't like where they are on the field. Got the lead. They've done well in the first half. Don't mess it up and go into halftime looking at each other wondering what if.
And he'll just burrow his way back to the line of scrimmage, and that's about it. They'll keep it on the ground again here. And this will go as a short gain on what will be the final act of this first half. So we've reached intermission here in a low-scoring game. 7-3 is our score. As we'll send you down to Orlando, and we check in with Jonathan Coachman for our EA Sports Halftime Report. Coach.
Okay, Brandon, thanks very much. Welcome in, everyone, to our EA Sports Halftime Report. Let's get you caught up on what's going on around the NFL. We'll begin our tour up at First Energy Stadium in Cleveland, where you see the final score there. Baker Mayfield leading the way again as his guys run their mark to 8-1. From there, we're off to check out another game. And they were losers in their ball game as they were outplayed by the visiting New York Jets. A field goal, the difference. 17-14, the final. Lastly, let's get to the Windy City. See what's happening with the Bears at home at Soldier Field. And they were winners in that one over the visiting Minnesota Vikings. Mitchell Trubisky leading the way in the victory with 3 touchdown passes. Meanwhile, in our game, not a lot of offense to go around. 7-3 is our score. Will we see things open up in the second half? To find out, we get it back to our guys in the booth, Brandon Gott and Charles Davis.
All right, Coach, thank you, and we welcome everyone back for quarter number 3. This fielded at the 2. And he'll make it across the 20 as his guys will set up shop at the 23-yard line. And now out comes Houston. They have the lead. Now they'll be looking for some separation here as we begin the third quarter.
I like the way you term that because now I think they go a little bit deeper into their playbook. They like what they did in the first half. That worked okay. But in order to get the separation that you just talked about, change things up a little bit. Change your tendencies. Try and hit them a little bit more with some things they didn't see in the first half.
We'll see if they do just that.
Brandon, perfect defense in this situation would have meant that there was an incompletion that would have picked it off. Okay, so they gave up the completion. But I really enjoyed watching how the defense stayed in sync, stayed in great communication, and as he dragged across each zone, you see him pointing, communicating. There he is, and they passed him off to each defender. Ended up making a nice play, even though it was complete.
He'll rifle this one deep. He's got a man, complete. And they're going to have this across midfield and inside the 45. It's a gain of 34. A nice job there, Charles. They picked up the blitz, were able to complete the pass.
That had the total feel of a quarterback in control. Red blitz, got him into the right protection scheme, so he doesn't get hit back there. He's got a chance to step up with supreme confidence and deliver it downfield for a nice completion.
So the big play gets him across midfield now for 1st and 10. Off the bootleg, Lawrence. Got his man complete over the middle. It's Brown. And they'll wind up getting this one all the way down inside the 20. That one goes for 24 yards.
That crossing route is so effective when you hit it just right because you get a guy on the move, and then we see the end result there.
It's a nightmare for the defense. They got a guy with a full head of steam.
Not only does he catch it, but he picks up additional yardage after it.
Now a handoff here to his running back. And he'll be brought down. Oh, that's a face mask. Certainly looked like it. Indeed, here come the flags.
Defense.
So they will accept the penalty and move forward.
Automatic first down.
They come out here in the eye. So now then the penalty's got him set up with a 1st and goal. On the ground, it's a handoff to Coleman. And he gets into the end zone. Touchdown, Houston. Tevin Coleman, his 3rd touchdown now on the year. And his guys are going to add on to their lead. And they're able to run it in. It started with a battle in the trenches. They won there, and they got in for 6 points.
And that's going to be a tough one for the defense to deal with. They've got to go to the bench now and figure out how are we going to slow down this running game, because on that particular play, they had no answer.
Extra point by Carlson, up and good. And the decision to just kick the extra point winds up successful. So that drive, 4 plays. And Tevin Coleman polished it off with a touchdown run. Following the touchdown, ready to kick it away is Carlson. Fielded about a yard deep. And he'll wind up about 4 yards shy of where he would have been if he had taken a knee, as they'll start at the 21-yard line. Here's the Packers offense now getting set to start off this third quarter. And their halftime hole now even deeper, and they need a big drive here just to answer the first touchdown of the second half scored against them.
They were down at the half. Now, as you mentioned, they're down a little bit bigger, but no time for discouragement. Just got to get back to it, right? Put your shoulder against the boulder and start pushing and try and get back to where you were to start the half.
Now, this will leave them a yard short. Nice pickup of 9 yards on first down. And at his size, he's a smaller back. You can get him to football. He can kind of get lost, make someone miss. It's good for him.
Yeah, it's great for him. I like what you said there. Sometimes he gets lost in the traffic a little bit, but get him out in the open field into some space. That plays to his strengths the best and keeps him out of it where all the big boys are, you know, make him make someone miss in the open field.
Just a 1-yard gain on the play, and that'll mean a call to the punt team as it's 4th down.
You know, we might start getting some props here in the booth. You know, that one that says the D and then the fence that you put up next to it? How about that? They brought out the jumbo package and still couldn't move them off the line of scrimmage enough to pick up that first down.
Impressive. They were ready defensively for that jumbo set. Here's J.K. Scott now. He's been one of their few bright spots so far. Averaging over 50 yards a punt so far as this one's away. And great special teams work here. This is knocking on the door of the 5. They'll spot it at the 6-yard line. Out comes the Houston offense as they get set to take over here. And for them, a touchdown their last go-around. Obviously, they'll be hoping to do that again.
And when you start plotting for this drive, when you start thinking to yourself, okay, what are we going to do? You don't go away from what you did before because that worked. But you have to be prepared for wrinkles and counters because you know they'll make some adjustments.
And now a throw on first down there, but it's incomplete.
We've seen good cover skills on display throughout this game, really from both teams. And there's another nice example there of them making it difficult to complete a pass.
Now this one to his running back out of the backfield. And a gain of about 4 here moves this from the 6 up to the 10. It'll be a gain of 4. And that's going to bring out the 3rd down. Looking to throw. Lawrence. And this turns into disaster. He's not going to get forward progress. That'll be a safety. Well, obviously, that is declined, and the result is a safety.
And what a momentum play that is, right? You never want to see a safety wiped out. You get the points, and you're going to get the ball back.
And now the Packers get set to go. These guys had to punt their last possession, and that's become too familiar of a refrain. Too many of these drives just wound up going nowhere.
But you know how in baseball, when the pitcher gets a base hit and he's on base, they bring his jacket out to him to keep him warm? A lot of times the punter goes to the sideline, puts on sweatpants or a wrap over his leg to keep it warm. He might need a massage from the trainer right now from all the work he's getting.
Call it no gain on the play, and it'll be 2nd down. And he got off the end there very quickly to make that play.
Yeah, it was almost like the bullet train, wasn't it? I mean, just zoom. Quick, quick, quick. And what a terrific play, holding them to no gain.
The throw over the middle taken in. 4 yards on the completion, and it sets up a 3rd down. These guys have punted 4 times already, and they're staring at a 5th, barring a conversion here on 3rd down. Brissett now. And a quick throw here, that's complete. And they're able to get this one across the 35. 11 yards and a Green Bay Packer first down.
That's a pretty good throw on the curl route there. 3rd down, and they pick up a first.
Defense should be aware for that, right?
They should be aware, but it was so hard sometimes.
Yeah, it's not easy.
Because when they sell that route really well, you think they're going upfield, and they curl back, show their numbers to the quarterback, and complete the play.
So here's a 1st and 10 at the 38. From the gun, here's Brissett. It's a short one here, complete to the tight end. It's a loss of a yard there, and it's 2nd down. And never good on a pass completion there to go the wrong way, lost yardage.
No, for some reason it seems to work better when you throw it downfield or you can move the ball downfield running it that way, doesn't it? But in this case, if you're the defensive guys, you're energized, executed well, and you caused a lost yardage play. That's going to feel good and look great in film.
Well, they tried to swing it out left into the flat, complete, but really nice open field tackling.
And they played that one like a great boxer. They were on their toes on that one. They weren't back on their heels reacting to the play. No, they saw it, came right for it, and made a nice tackle for lost yardage.
Couple of plays sent them the wrong way, and now they face a 3rd and 14. Here's Brissett. Throw left side complete. That's Shepard. 4 yards on the pickup, and that'll bring up 4th down.
One hallmark of good defenses is understanding the game, understanding positioning, and tackling immediately in the secondary after catches. I think we just saw that on display right there.
Got to him before he ever had a chance to think about turning it upfield. Here's J.K. Scott now. He's been terrific so far. And he deserves a bronze leg as he gets this one away.
Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
And now out comes Houston. And the last time they had the football, they surrendered 2 points on the safety. They don't want to do that one again.
No, not at all. It's almost like a bases clearing double, isn't it? Give up a couple of runs.
Sure.
just messes things up for you offensively. But now they've got to go ahead, take it, set it aside, and move forward.
This will be stopped about 2 yards shy of the marker. 8-yard gain, 2nd and 2.
And that run there does nothing but juice up the guys who are moving the football. I mean, if you're an offensive lineman, people running it, actually the guy calling plays, you're almost jumping up and down in jubilation, aren't you?
And now you've got options on 2nd down.
And big-time options. You might want to think about play action and try and get something cheap right here over the top. They completed the screen on the perimeter, but boy, that was textbook defense. Exactly as you're taught to play against a wide receiver screen, and they snuffed it out for a loss of yardage.
The offense on 3rd down tonight, they've had their troubles. Just 1 for 6. This will be 3rd and 5. Over the middle, complete. That's Smith. And I don't think he got there, no. He's short by maybe a foot, maybe. Call it 4th and inches.
I think that call was made not so much to try and get the 1st down, although they would have taken it if they could have gotten it, but to give their punter a little bit of space and try and help out their defense.
Yeah, they got the safe completion on 3rd. So they bring out their punter, standing just about on his own goal line. Now a late flag comes in as they got him down via the face mask, and that'll give him even better starting position. Officials so cognizant of that call nowadays, but that one looked pretty easy.
Yeah, you're right. They took out of their hands having to wonder whether it's a 5-yard or a 15-yard inadvertent or not. Now it's a lot easier. You see it, you call it.
A lack of discipline defensively on 4th down, and now that leads to a 1st and 10. And he'll give it here to his running back. And that one blown up quickly as he's going to be stopped before he could even get started. It'll be a loss of a yard, and that'll bring up a 2nd and 11.
I know when I was a kid, I always got real excited when I saw those lateral-type runs. But the best backs that made it happen, they put a foot in the ground and just go. That didn't happen there. That play got swallowed up.
After the loss to start out, here's 2nd and 11. The gun, Brissett. Firing quickly here, and that's complete. That catch good for only a yard, and it'll be 3rd down. Big play coming up. Here's 3rd and 10.
I would expect to see some pressure here. Always laugh when people say, what's the toughest route to defend? And I'm like, any of them, especially if it's a good receiver. That makes things very difficult. But when you're running a drag route, something short, shallow, going through defenders, using guys almost as screens in order to get open, that makes things tough for guys trying to get to the football.
From the 32 now, here's 1st and 10.
Let's go. Let's do this.
1 quarter remains here as we wrap up the week on a Monday night. We'll return with more after this. You're watching the NFL on EA Sports. A first down throw for Brissett. Quick hitter here. It's complete. Give him a couple on the catch. It's 2nd and 8. So 2nd and 8 here after the pass play for 2 yards on first down. They'll throw again. Brissett. And a big loss here as he's taken down. Ed Oliver able to record his 5th sack of the season. Defensively, you said coming in earlier in the broadcast, the magic number was 20 points for you. That's what you thought they would have to hold this offense to or less than that. And, wow, they've done that in a big way, haven't they?
And not only have they done it, they put themselves in a great position to win this one because holding them down was paramount. If they could get it done, well, guess what? We see the end result. Right now, they have their eye on victory.
And leading here in the 4th. The Packers on 3rd down. They've struggled to the tune of 2 for 8 so far. This will be 3rd and forever. Looking right sideline, that's complete. Call that a very strong gain of 24. And in a 2-score game, obviously, every play, every 3rd down, like we saw there, magnified, big pickup.
It was a huge pickup. What they really want, though, is to not even get to 3rd down. They've got to maximize time and conserve as much as possible.
So here, the men in charge are going to be looking at whether or not the receiver had possession of the ball as he went out of bounds.
And they have to make sure that the receiver got both feet down in bounds as well.
Come on, fellas.
Well, he challenged the play. It did not pay off.
And that means he lost a timeout in that challenge.
And as a coach, you hate that. Don't know if you took the advice of the player, you threw it yourself, but it didn't go your way.
At the end of the day, it all comes back to the head coach. He has the final determination on whether to actually challenge the play or not. In this case, it didn't pay off for him.
And that's got to be so heartbreaking. You throw that flag, you probably feel really confident, and then all of a sudden, boom, you lose the challenge.
Yeah, when you take a look at it, you're throwing that flag because you believe you're going to be right. And when it comes back the other way, you have to regroup.
On 2nd and 12, Brissett is going to hit his man out of the backfield, complete. A minimal gain there on the 8th play of the drive. One thing I think that's safe to say defensively, the tackling's been really good.
And because of that, it's been very, very hard for them to move the ball because you're not getting the benefits of run after catch. They're tackling them almost on the spot. That means you have to run extra plays, harder to move it. They went with the dime look that time on defense, just flooded the field with defensive backs, blanketed everyone, took away all the passing angles, thus the incompletion.
So on 4th down, out trots the kicker in a big spot here. He connected on his first. This time it's 39 yards away. And his kick is good. And that'll move him back within 6 now. All right, so they needed 2 scores to get back in the game. The field goal there, maybe not exactly what they wanted, but the necessary first step.
There's still time remaining, and there's enough time to get it done. They've got to get at the least a 3 and out here to get the ball back, preferably a takeaway.
This fielded at the 2. Then he'll take this across the 25, a couple extra yards, up to the 27-yard line. Out comes the Houston offense as they get set to take over here. And on the last go-around, they really couldn't get anything going.
They had to punt from deep inside their own territory, which means they're going to lose the field position battle as a general rule. What they're looking for now is a little more consistency, move the ball at least a few times on offense, get a couple of first downs.
Under a heavy rush, and down he goes. Zadarius Smith The blitz works to perfection as he gets in there to dump him for a loss of 8.
Now, we talk about players blitzing all the time. I often laugh and sometimes call it just straight-ahead pursuit. What a running start right back to the backfield for him.
Yeah, it really didn't give anybody a chance to get up there and stop him.
No, I mean, that's really, really difficult. You're asking a whole lot anyway, but when he gets that kind of a start and comes through clean, oftentimes the advantage definitely goes to the defensive player.
Pass protection has been a problem all night long as they come up facing second and a bundle. And he's going to have to protect the football and take his lumps here at this stage of the game as they stop him behind the line. This will be a loss of 3 and now a much tougher third down looming.
And this is why the head coach gets paid the big bucks. Look at where they are in this situation, partner. Do you throw the ball here in a long-distance situation? Do you run it again and trust your defense and make sure you take care of the ball and punt it away? What kind of options do you have here, and what do you trust more on your team?
Yeah, they may have just pushed him back into that throwing situation. We'll see. Now on third and long, they'll look to throw. That's to his running back, complete. Give him 2 yards on that play, and that's going to bring up a 4th down. I hate to surrender the football when you're nursing a slim lead, but they're going to have to punt it away. Trust that defense.
It's the right play at this stage of the game as well. You don't need to press it here because you do have that little bit of a cushion, and you count on your D to make it stand up.
And on now is the punter as the drive goes backwards, so he's on to punt it away. That'll be a 48-yard punt, 1 yard on the return. And it'll be Packer football here, 1st down and 10. And Green Bay getting ready to go as they take the field. And last time able to get 3. It's not what they wanted. They wanted 6, but they got at least something. They mustered something out of the drive.
They'll take it. I like the way you described it. Not ideal, but they'll take it. Anything to put some points.
And a big loss here as he's taken down. Ed Oliver in there to get him, and that is sack number 6 now for him on the year.
Well, so much for setting the tone of the drive offensively. Giving up a big sack that loses that kind of yardage, not a great start.
Pass protection has been a problem all night long as they come up facing second and a bundle. Throwing. Brissett got his man complete over the middle. It's Rhodes. It's a pickup of 12, and that'll set up a 3rd down.
When you execute a drag or a crossing route really well and give them a chance to let it develop a little bit, you can gain some significant yardage hitting your tight end on that one.
The Packers on 3rd down. They're hitting at just 30%, 3 for 10. This is 3rd down and 12. To throw, Brissett. And that is incomplete.
Today's NFL, these big guys are featured receivers. They move them all over the place to try and find good matchups, and they had one. They were just unable to complete the pass.
Here's J.K. Scott now as he'll come on to kick for a 6th time tonight. And no one there to stop it. Hits at the 8, but it carries all the way into the end zone for a touchback. And now out comes Houston. They're holding on right now to that slim advantage in a 1-score game. And you hear a lot about 2-minute offense and 4-minute offense. Obviously, the 4-minute offense applies here. How do they run that effectively?
Yeah, really what the 4-minute offense is you're just trying to grind the clock. So you want consistent gains, steady gains. Doesn't have to be big plays, but it has to be plays that gets first downs and keeps the ball away from your opponent.
But certainly throwing the ball is in the mix here.
It certainly is. Just make sure that you're careful with it. And again, get those first downs, keep possession of the football.
He sets to fire deep. And that'll be incomplete. Good protection that time, and they couldn't hook up on the long one. Now it's 3rd down. This a very important drive, and that incompletion leads to a very important 3rd down here if they're going to try and get the football back.
Yeah, getting it back, absolutely crucial to their chances to try and win this game. I would expect a lot of pressure here. They can't afford to let them continue to get first downs and eat away at the clock.
He's been the go-to guy. They needed a big play there on third down. Went his way. It worked out.
Doesn't matter whether they've scouted it or that they think he's going to get the ball. He has a knack for finding his way open and completing the connection.
Here we go, here we go.
Line of scrimmage, the 37 on 1st and 10. Operating from the gun, Lawrence. And he's got his man out of the backfield. That's complete. And he slips up past the 45 before being tackled.
Defense.
So they'll take the yardage and tack on 15 more for the face mask.
Talk about a play that absolutely costs you in the end. Just trying to do your job, right? Trying to get him on the ground.
On the ready.
Next thing you know, they'll march off another 15 against your squad.
And now it's 1st and 10. A big mistake, especially when you factor in the personal foul yardage. Throwing on 1st down, but this one winds up to be incomplete. Got out of the pocket. Didn't look like he had anybody open, Charles, so just gets rid of it.
And a good play by him. If no one's open and you don't have a running lane that you want to take, make the right choice. Get rid of it. Live to fight another down.
And he'll be brought down, losing yardage back at the 40. He lost 2 there, and it's 3rd down. Possibly a turning point. Big play coming. This is 3rd and long.
You got to be ready. Don't be scared.
From the gun, Lawrence. Over the middle, it's complete. They do get 12, but they'll be marked short. And that leads to a 4th down.
So much about offense is what you call hidden yardage. You know, you throw the ball to someone, they catch it, and then they can make a big play. You know, they create a play, run after catch. They did a really nice job there of limiting that and keeping him from a 1st down.
Yeah, stopped him in his tracks. So on 4th down, out trots the kicker in a big spot here. This to perhaps salt this one away. 4th quarter, down to the final 2 minutes, and we've got a 1-score game. So it's our visitors with a football as we get you reset. And let's see what they've come up with offensively after having time to talk it over. And this one is going to just tuck into the bottom left corner as he gets it to go. And that'll boost their lead to 9. It's 17-8. A big one there. That gives them a little cushion and makes it a 2-score game.
Yeah, bled a little time off the clock, put some points on the board. It's not totally out of reach yet, but it has to feel pretty good to them right now because as a defender, you go out on the field and say, guess what? You can put some points on the board, but that won't beat us.
And he's up past the 20 to the 22-yard line. Getting set to go again as we look at the back, heading onto the field again. And we have seen a decline in the numbers. Where does the fault lie? Just him? Maybe the guys up front? Combination?
Well, as you and I both know, it's almost always a collective deal. But in this case, I think maybe the offensive line got a little overconfident. They had blocked so well in the first half, picked up on what the defense was doing. I think we've seen an adjustment now that they have not picked up on, and now they're being a little bit overwhelmed.
That play going for 16 yards to start the drive. 1st down. To throw is Brissett. And he's top 5. And a big loss here as he's taken down. Rashawn Gary in there to drop him as that clock continues to run. On 2nd and a long way to go. Brissett. And he's going to be brought down by the face mask. Here come the flags. This is going to get him a 1st down. So that flag will cost him 15.
And it doesn't matter anymore how you get the face mask. Any part of it, that's going to be 15 yards.
So the face mask, quite a blessing there as they'll start out of harm's way with a 1st and 10. Here's Brissett. Completing it to the right side, Johnson. 5 yards on the catch there, brings up 2nd down. Now Brissett. And right now, defensively, you love that, don't you? I mean, you'll give them that play.
And they'll take it every single time. This is almost like nickeling and diming it downfield, and too much time's going to run off the clock.
Brissett. And this is intercepted, and that should do it. Picked off at the 23.
So many times we end a game, and as we're recapping it, we're talking about what offenses did and how they won the game. Let's flip this one over. The defense, they frustrated the offense the entire ball game. That's why they're walking out of here with a victory.
And they're going to love to walk out of here with that as their final act, that interception. Good way for them to end it. Out comes a Houston offense as they get set to take over here. And still 2 timeouts defensively, but even if they choose to use those, 3 kneel downs should be enough to get out of here with a victory.
And that's exactly what's being stated into the head coach's headset. Oftentimes they have a guy upstairs who monitors this at the end of the game. A little clock management 101.
Down to a knee here. The defense still with a couple of timeouts. We'll see if they want to use them. Now the Packers going to go ahead and use the second of their timeouts as they get it right at the 32nd mark of this 4th quarter. And they take a knee. Now the Packers going to burn their 3rd and final timeout as the clock will stop with just under 30 seconds left to go. So time to start going in the other direction as they come up now 3rd and long.
Ready?
Down to a knee one more time, and that should just about do it. On 4th down, the punt team is on as this is sent away. So Houston going to come away here with the victory. And I think the game balls need to be distributed on the defensive side of the football, and I bet that you would agree.
Yeah, if you hold a team under 10 points, that's a job well done. Really well done. So I would say game balls for every starter and every key player who participated in this game.
Now, see, I only like one game ball. You're handing out multiple, although I set you up by saying game balls, plural, but I
like where we're going with this. You say one to represent, like the best player of all that, and I say multiples so that you keep everyone motivated and involved.
You're a man of the people.
I'm a man of the people. I thought I was the only child.
You get a game ball, and you... So for our visitors, the win means they'll finish the first half at a respectable 5-3 record. And they will head back home next week. Meanwhile, for Green Bay, they'll lose an important one here as that drops them to 5-4 on the season. And they're going to get an extra week to stew over this as they're not back in action until week 11.